All right, everyone, we're going to get started a couple minutes late, but that's all right. We're going to be on schedule. But yeah, everyone, good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to everyone tuning into tonight's event. Welcome to the 2025 ASUCI Senatorial Debates and Referenda Forums, brought to you by the Elections Commission. My name is June, and I serve as your 2024-2025 Elections Commissioner for this year. I will be your only moderator for tonight, but for the other debates, we will be joined by other members of the new university and the Elections Commission as well. ASUCI is the officially recognized undergraduate student government here at UCI. You may recognize them from Aldrich Park After Dark, ZA Talks, and more. Our student government is responsible for many different functions, from regularly providing resources and programming through events to advocating for students at the university, local, state, and national level. ASUCI is also entirely student-led. Everything our student government does to make UCI a better campus for anteaters is made possible by the incredible student leaders who join us every year, some of whom you'll be casting your vote for starting next week. Voting will officially begin next Monday, April 14th at 9 a.m. and will end April 18th on Friday at 5 p.m. All undergraduate students, regardless of year, major, immigration status, etc., are entitled to vote in these elections. To vote, all you need to do is head to elections.uci.edu. Again, that's elections.uci.edu. Before we begin our debates, a couple of reminders for the audience. At this time, please silence all devices and refrain from any distracting or disruptive behaviors out of respect to our candidates. These debates are being live streamed by the university and recorded by ASUCI, so if you take a look at the back, we have our team over from the university and our team from ASUCI respectively. So out of courtesy, please avoid making any unnecessary sounds that may be caught on tape. Restrooms are located downstairs on the first floor of the Student Center across from the Emerald Bay ballrooms. We do ask, however, that if you do need to use the restroom, you do so either quietly by exiting or alternatively waiting for our intermission that we will have between the senatorial debates and the referenda forums. For tonight's senatorial debates, we'll be going through each race individually, starting with the race for at-large senator. With that, please give our candidates for at-large senator a warm round of applause as they enter the stage. All right, candidates, here are the rules for the debates. Each candidate will have 45 seconds to answer the question. No rebuttals or clarifications will be permitted for these debates. From the moderator's table, I will provide hand signals to indicate how much time is remaining in your speaking slot. A C will indicate 30 seconds, and a 10-second countdown will be provided. Each candidate may also ask the moderator to repeat the question once per question. All candidates have reviewed and agreed to the rules prior to this debate, so we will now begin with 1-minute opening statements from each candidate, starting with Senatorial.
Hi everyone, my name is Senatorial and I'm running for at-large senator. We're gonna skip the about me because I have only 1 minute, but let's go ahead and go straight into my campaign. So I'm basically gonna focus on, if I'm elected, the idea that while ASUCI is the voice of the school, when people hear UCI, they should hear you. So how do we do that? I think it's about relationships. My primary goals and my primary targets for the next school year would be to, number one, strengthen connections between students and ASUCI, primarily through RCO's cultural and identity. And then on the other hand, also work with administrators to try to mend the broken link that we're currently seeing between admin and students. I think that these are the foundation to ASUCI, and if we don't mend these connections and build these relationships up, we're gonna end up with an organization that does not function the way it's supposed to, and it doesn't serve our students appropriately. Thank you.
Thank you for your opening statement. We'll move on to our next candidate. So, Lauren, whenever you're ready.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for having me. My name is Lauren Jernigan and I'm running for the at-large position. A few of you I recognize, but a lot of you I don't think I've had the pleasure of meeting. My name is Lauren. I'm the current first-year senator in ASUCI, and I'm originally from Seattle. So as an out-of-state student, I've learned a lot about the resources at UCI, and I've gained appreciation for it and the ability to call it my home. And within this community that I've built, I want to give back. I've noticed many issues within my position as well as a community member that I want to address. I want to increase outreach between ASUCI and the students, hopefully fill more of these seats, know more, increase transparency about what we're doing, as well as initiate more reform and address issues that I will talk about to come. Thank you.
Thank you for your opening statement, Lauren. We'll move on to our next candidate for at-large senator, Ennis.
Good evening, Anteaters. My name is Ennis Koff. I'm a first year majoring in literary journalism, and I'm honored to be running to represent you as at-large senator for ASUCI. I'm running because I believe every student at UCI, no matter their background, deserves to feel seen and supported. As a member of the Southwest Asian and North African community, or SWANA, I've seen firsthand how our voices can be overlooked. As a proud Muslim on campus, I've seen how my faith can be neglected. And as a commuter student, I've felt the frustration of being left out. If elected, I'll advocate for SWANA-focused course offerings and a SWANA resource center, support commuter students by working to reform parking policies to meet student needs, and to build better channels for student input in ASUCI decisions. I'm proud to already have the endorsement of the Syrian American Medical Society, the SWANA Health Alliance, and the Pakistani Student Association, because this campaign isn't just about me, it's about all of us. Together, let's make UCI a place where every student's voice counts. Thank you.
Thank you for your opening statement. We'll now have an opening statement from our next candidate, Amelia.
Hi everyone, my name is Amelia Nguyen and I'm running to be your next at-large senator. As a first-year international and student from Vietnam and a double major in international studies and global culture, I've seen how overwhelming it can be to navigate a UCI, especially when you're trying to find resources that feel relevant to your major, your background, or your goals. That's why I'm committed to expanding career development for all majors, improving mental health access, and simplifying club funding and event support. These are all issues that affect every corner of our campus. I'm running with Anteater PAC because I believe that student government should be proactive, inclusive, and transparent. Let's build a student government that not only listens, but also listens, and also acts. Thank you.
Thank you for your opening statement. We'll now have our opening statement from our next candidate, Oliver.
Evening, y'all. My name is Oliver Wise. I'm a second-year quantitative economics major here at UCI. I'm a Bay Area native, and I come from a big family, so I'm used to lively conversations such as this. And first, I just want to say I'm grateful to be here, and I wanted to wish good luck to my fellow debaters. On campus, I wanted to go over my qualifications. I'm very involved with the California Public Interest Research Group, which is a grassroots organization focused on grassroots movements and bills here on campus, such as the Marine Protected Areas Movement, the Affordable Textbooks Movement, as well as a brand new campaign that I'm bringing this very quarter on the Make Polluters Pay bill, which I would like to focus during my candidacy if I was elected. Along with that, I really want to focus on affordability and partnerships with RCOs on campus. I think the single greatest thing on campus and the greatest privilege of college students is to be involved with political movements and organizations, and I want to make people excited for that. Thank you.
Thank you for your opening statements, candidates. Starting off our questions for tonight, your first question is, in general terms, what is your understanding of the role of senator? And we'll begin with Lauren.
My understanding of the role of senator, I'll speak specifically for at-large senator, is to represent the goals of every single member of the student body. I think what's most important is making sure every single voice is heard. So as senator, I would do this through putting out school-wide Microsoft forms or hosting town halls and encouraging people, even currently in my current position, to come to the Senate meetings. They're every Tuesday and Thursday. Tell us about what issue needs to be done, and then we can do them. And I think promoting that bond is the most important so we can handle the issues that might go underneath the rug or be left unseen. And I believe in my diverse involvements in campus. I've gotten a glimpse of that, but I hope to build connections with each of you and learn about more. So thank you.
Thank you for your response. Same question, Enes.
So I believe the definition of a senator is someone who listens to every person on campus. As a student journalist, I feel like this is my primary job that I do every single day, and I've built experience in listening to unheard voices, asking the right questions, amplifying underrepresented voices. I believe that's the number one thing that a senator needs to do, and I'm gonna bring this same energy to the Senate if I'm elected. I want to launch a recurring series where I meet with identity-based organizations, cultural clubs, first generation and undocumented student groups. I want to make sure that every underrepresented voice on this campus is heard. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Amelia, same question.
I believe that an at-large senator is different from a school-based senator or other senators in general is because at-large we take into consideration all students and all groups, which is also the main reason why I'm running to be an at-large senator. I've seen how much students care, but also how disconnected they feel about ASUCI, and I'm running to close that gap, especially as an at-large senator. I'm currently a Rules and Oversight Vice Chair of the ASUCI Senate for 2024-2025, and and a senator this year. This is why I know what I will do and I know how I will do it. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Oliver, same question.
From my understanding, an at-large senator is, at its heart, someone who needs to represent the undergraduates at UCI. But I do think it's more than that. I think it's more than representation. I believe that it is encouragement. Encouragement to go to sports activities, encouragement to come to activities like this. And I think that's the most important thing you can do as a senator at a school such as ours. I do believe that RCOs and clubs on campus are the greatest thing that students can be involved with. And as a senator, I think it's the responsibility of them to not only focus on students being involved in ASUCI events, but also to be involved with all events and all movements on campus. And that's what I'd like to focus on as senator. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Temitaya, same question.
I believe that an at-large senator, like everyone here has already said, is someone who represents every single voice on our campus. One thing I will say is that it's probably one of the hardest roles in our Senate because we are all very different people, and my experience is probably very different from yours, and yours very different from the person who sits next to you. So the difficulty here, what you have to do as a senator, is basically go to the people yourself. A lot of times we think that if we send an email or we say, oh, hey, our Senate meetings are at 5 or whatever, it usually doesn't really get the people as much as we'd like them to. But I think that as a person, as a senator, I can go to people individually, share my experiences with them, and through that, I can represent their voices by listening to them. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates, for your responses. Your next question is, students from each academic school face a variety of challenges unique to their school. The at-large senator, however, is different as they represent all students at UCI. What do you believe is the most important issue to students at UCI, and how would you address it as their senator? We'll begin with Enes.
So I believe the number one issue facing UCI students right now is that UCI oftentimes, it doesn't feel built for all students, especially for commuter students, which make up 50% of our population, and also marginalized communities. So getting into underrepresentation of marginalized communities, especially SWANA students, SWANA students currently don't have a resource center. We don't even have a website page on ASUCI or the UCI website. So one thing I want to push for is a SWANA resource center. Another thing for commuters is that they have nowhere to really rest on all parts of the campus if they have long days. I know there's the commuter resource lounge, but they need to have allocated rest areas and nap spaces in libraries and all places
Your time is
all
elapsed.
across campus. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Amelia, same question.
I personally feel like UCI has incredible potentials, but but many students still face real challenges. Something that I would propose and an issue that I found is the struggle of confusing fundings within different campus organizations. The aim for my legislation or a project that I aim next year will be to standardize and simplify club funding and event approval processes for over 650 clubs in campus. This is an issue because students constantly face slow response time and unclear guidelines. My bill would include a digital template system, a deadline guarantee for funding replies, and dedicated advising hours for ASUCI to support new and cultural
Your time is
organizations.
elapsed.
Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Oliver, same question.
I believe that one of the greatest universal challenges that all the college students face, but especially here at UCI, is affordability. College already has a huge barrier of entrance just to pay for college, and with new struggles like FAFSA not working and threats to the Department of Education, that struggle grows every day. This quarter alone, I had to spend over $100 just on textbooks and programs so that I can actually get into my classes. And I believe that with certain movements like the Affordable Textbooks campaign and helping the FAFSA, how it works at UCI, I believe that this can be resolved, and I think it's not a problem that students who have already paid for college should have to face. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Timotaya, same question.
I believe the question was, what is the biggest problem that all students on campus are facing right now? And in honesty, I feel like I cannot answer that question and give it its fullest answer, because like I mentioned in my opening statement, I am one person and I have my own experiences. And I think that this really points to how maybe disconnected our campus is, because while some people's issue might be textbooks, others is FAFSA, others is feeling misrepresented or underrepresented, there are very few avenues that students really know about. Like, all of you are here listening to us debate, but there's so many people who don't know about it. So we need to increase that so that
Time is
connections
elapsed.
can be made. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Lauren, same question.
I think that we can talk forever about the multitude of systematic issues that UCI faces, but to me, it's more important to focus on what I can realistically attain in my role as an at-large senator. So one of the biggest things I would like to do is to urge UCI to break their contract with RMARC, which is a worldwide organization. They fund the dining halls and various things on campus, and they have a very bad reputation that they're known for horrible working conditions, they're known for low nutrition values, low dietary options for students, and I believe in my role as senator, something that I can realistically do is to take a stance from the students saying that we are against organizations such as this, and
Time has lapsed.
thank you.
Thank you for your responses, candidates. Your next question is, the Senate is responsible for many oversight functions within ASUCI. What tangible steps would you take to improve the transparency and accountability of ASUCI? Amelia, we'll start with you.
To answer that question, I personally feel like it should start in Senate, because Senate is first a legislative branch of ASUCI, but it also has access to all the governing documents. We are also divided into 4 committees: public info, advocacy, rules and oversight, and also finance. Each and every one has their own roles and has their own jobs that they need to do. And in order to increase the coherence of ASUCI, we need to start with everyone working together and everyone forming and doing the work that they were supposed to do. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Oliver, same question.
May I hear the question again?
Of course. So your question is, the Senate is responsible for many oversight functions within ASUCI. What tangible steps would you take to improve the transparency and accountability of ASUCI?
All right, so I want to focus on tangibility real quick. I believe that a lot of moves that ASUCI make is very transparent and people can see it, but they aren't inspired to see it. Stuff like this, stuff like the elections that they're not getting involved with, maybe because they don't know what's happening, that's a huge barrier to transparency. So what I would do as a tangible effect would launch large social media campaigns documenting certain activities such as this, because you can't tackle accountability until the people see what's happening behind those closed doors. And I believe there are currently avenues like this where people can see where the decisions are being made. But I believe taking steps like campaigning outside of on Ring Road about recent events would greatly help that. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Timoteo, same question.
I think that something that ASUCI and us as senators can do to make sure that we increase the transparency and accessibility of ASUCI is to be very direct with our approach. We have our Instagram, we post on it, and I also think that that is a very, very good avenue. However, I think that senators need to take on more responsibility, and in that I mean going to club events, going to events where you know that there are going to be a large mass of people, and letting them know, hey, ASUCI is here, hey, do you need help? A lot of the RCOs would really benefit from collaborating with us and working with us, and they do want to. We just have to be the ones to take that first step, and I think that that's the way to increase transparency and accessibility. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Lauren, same question.
I would like to say that I do believe ASUCI is transparent and the information's out there, but the issue is that it's not reaching students. And I believe a realistic solution to that is to increase the funding of ASUCI. However, ASUCI is funded with student fees, and I do not want to increase those by any means. So a realistic thing I see in the future of ASUCI that's more long-term is establishing some sort of permanent fundraising place on campus, whether that be a cafe, something to raise revenue for ASUCI. As the current member of the Finance Committee in Senate, I see how stretched thin the budget is. And if ASUCI is able to have more money to put on more events and do more outreach, students will more easily access the transparent resources in ASUCI.
Thank you for your response. Enes, same question.
So as students, I believe that ASUCI is transparent, but as students, it's not your job, right, to come to the Senate meetings twice a week or to come to even this. But I believe it's a senator's job to reach out to clubs, reach out to organizations. And I mentioned before the listening series that I wanted to launch, which will be a recurring series where I meet with identity-based organizations, cultural organizations. It's my job as a senator to meet with those organizations and to talk with them, ask them what their needs are, what they're struggling with. And it's my job as a senator to bring that back to the Senate and voice their concerns and be that representative for them. Thank you.
Thank you for your responses, candidates. Your final question is, the Senate is the only branch of ASUCI authorized to release statements on behalf of the entire student body. What do you believe should be the Senate's role when taking a stance or position? Oliver, we'll begin with you.
I believe the role of the Senate in being the voice of the undergraduate is to try to represent the clearest voice that they can, without trying to be too obvious here. But I believe that going out and going to those organizations, going to those RCOs, even going into classes and hearing and surveying and seeing what people actually feel about current events and then releasing statements based off those responses is the most effective way that we can handle the responsibility of being allowed to make those statements. Because you can make a statement with just blind knowledge, but now you're representing the ideas of ASUCI, but perhaps not the entire undergraduate. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Temitayo, same question. Of course. The question is, the Senate is the only branch of ASUCI authorized to make statements on behalf of the entire student body. What do you believe should be the Senate's role when taking a stance or position?
I believe that the Senate's role in taking a stance or position is to be a vehicle for the students and to be a vehicle for their voice. This year, we've especially seen that a lot of organizations are taking advantage of the Civic Act that is currently in place, which allows RCOs, individuals, to make their own legislation, their own stances, and their own statements, and bring them towards ASUCI, the Senate, and say, hey, would you author this with me? Would you co-author this with me? Would you sponsor this so that we can put it out there? The Senate's then responsibility is to read over that message and decide, yes, this is what Group A wants to do, and we believe that the school should hear about this. The school needs to know about this. And thus, we become a vehicle to that organization's voice rather than putting our own voice into their own words. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Lauren, same question.
I believe in an ideal world we could hear from every single student before coming up with the stance, but that's just not possible. So I think when forming a stance on an issue, it's important to go straight to whoever it's most affected by. So any kind of issue we're dealing with, an example that comes to mind from just this quarter was the hydrogen blending project that an outside company was trying to put underneath ACC student housing. We went out and we found, well, a lot of them came to us, members of the apartments that didn't want to live there, but we also made an effort to find the other perspectives, who's working on this project. We refused to take a stance until we made sure every perspective came to the meeting. And I think taking those steps to have both perspective and make a informed decision is the most important part when taking a stance for the student body.
Thank you for your response. Enes, same question.
So as a senator, our job on paper is to attend these meetings twice a week and draft legislation, right? But I believe our job extends beyond those two things and beyond that paper and those official rules. I believe our job extends to being a voice for our community, and I believe my job as a senator would be to represent everyone at UCI. So when drafting this legislation, since I will already have relationships with a lot of the organizations on campus, I will be able to reach out to them, hear what their concern is and what they want in the legislation, and I'll definitely take that into account when ASUCI is drafting that legislation. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Amelia, same question.
Would you mind repeating the question?
Of course. The Senate is the only branch of ASUCI authorized to release statements on behalf of the student body. What do you believe should be the Senate's role when taking a position or a stance?
As part of the Senator this year, we've released a lot of statements regarding Black Lives Matter Month, Black History Month, or other special events. And I feel like before releasing a statement that represents the students or ASUCI in general, we need to listen to all the opinions. In Senate, we have executive reports. We also have clubs or organizations coming to us and talk in public comments, which is really important for us to before having the final decision or having the final stance. That's why in every legislation for stance, we also do amendments. We also double check a lots of time before releasing the statement, and we think that it's really important for us to represent everyone, even though
Your time has elapsed.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you, candidates, for your responses. Before we move on to our next Senate race, we will end with 1 minute closing statements from each candidate, starting with Temitayo.
Hi again. My name is Temitayo Conde. I was running for at-large senator. I am running for at-large senator. Just to refresh basically what I said in my opening statement and throughout, my primary goals are to 1, strengthen connections between ASUCI and its students, and 2, mend the broken link between administration and its students. That way we can foster a better community here at UCI. If you want to know more about me, because I didn't say anything, follow at Temitayo for Senate and at Anteater Pact, because along with my voice, there are many other senators and many other people in the exec cabinet who follow and also agree with many of the things I talked about today, and will go into much greater detail as well. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your closing statement. We will now have a 1-minute closing statement from Lauren.
I would like to thank you guys again so much for having me. I want to reinforce that the main pillars of my campaign are to increase the outreach to the student body along with the transparency, doing that through more events and more funding within the ASUCI, while also initiating lots of reform for the issues facing the student body. A brief overview might be the Anteater Express hours, or how outdated WebReg is, or just lots of different issues that just affect everyone in the student body, and are goals that I believe are attainable through my time in Senate. I feel like I hit the ground running, but it takes time to adjust to the position and understand the bylaws, the Constitution, what laws the senators, or what policies the senators actually have to follow, and the powers that they have. And I believe that I've gained enough experience to now properly do this, and the ideas that I realistically need more time to complete, and I hope to get your vote, along with the vote for the other people in Anteater
Your time
Pact,
has elapsed.
to accomplish these. Thank you.
Thank you for your closing statement. Now we'll have a 1-minute closing statement from our next candidate, Enes.
My campaign is about more than just representation. It's about building real change. As a Syrian American, commuter student, and journalist, I've seen the gaps, and I'm ready to bridge them. But this campaign isn't just about my story, it's about standing up for all of you. As a student journalist, I've spent years listening to people, asking hard questions, and telling stories that often go unheard. That skill set, deep listening, and genuine representation is exactly what I'll bring to ASUCI. Whether it's advocating for commuter rest areas, uplifting cultural communities, or making ASUCI more accessible, I'm committed to making sure no student is left out of the conversation. I'm grateful for the support I've received from communities across campus, and I'm ready to keep showing up for all of them. If you want leadership that leads with purpose and follows through, vote Enes Koff for at-large senator. Let's build a UCI where every voice matters. Thank you all for coming out tonight, and thank you.
Thank you for your closing statement. We'll now have a 1-minute closing statement from our next candidate, Amelia.
First off, I just want to thank everyone for coming here tonight. At the end of the day, my campaign isn't about titles, it's about outcomes. It's about making sure that students don't need to wait 3 hours for their counseling appointment, or that your club doesn't struggle with confusing funding forms. As someone who has organized events with hundreds and thousands of people, conducted independent research, and served in ASUCI leadership, I don't just advocate, I serve. So if you want a senator who follows through, who puts students first, and who's ready to do the work, I'd be honored to get your vote. Thank you.
Thank you for your closing statement. We'll now have a closing statement from our next candidate, Oliver.
It has been made clear throughout this debate that organization and RCOs and political movements are the lifeblood of this campus. And not to borrow a metaphor, I hope you don't mind, but I do believe that ASUCI is a vehicle that can help bring that will of the people through the organizations to do what they want to accomplish. I believe as a senator that I will be able to connect to these RCOs, connect to these organizations because of my experience with CalPERG, my experience with other clubs, my experience leading campaigns like the Make Polluters Pay movement, like the Make Our Oceans Clean Again movement. So, that is to say that I believe that a vote for me is a vote for getting UCI inspired to be part of clubs, to be inspired to get out there and go to ASUCI events. And thank you so much for coming out tonight. Thank you for my fellow debaters. If you have any questions, please stop me in the hall, stop me in the cafeteria, anything. Thank you.
Thank you for your closing statements, candidates. This concludes the at-large senatorial debate. You've met 5 of our amazing candidates today. However, there are also 9 others who are running for the office. And so for more information about all candidates running for the ASUCI elections, please head to elections.uci.edu. But please give our candidates a final warm round of applause as they exit the stage. So with that, up next we will have our debate for the Biological Sciences Senatorial debate. And so at this time, please give our candidates for Biological Senator a warm round of applause as they enter the stage, if they are present. No worries. If not, then we will move on to our next debate. So our next debate will be the Business Senatorial debate. And so if our candidate for Business Senator is in attendance, if not, we will move on to our next debate. So our next debate that we have scheduled is our debate for education. Would our candidate for education happen to be present? Not, no worries. Then we will move on to our next debate, which is the engineering senatorial debate. This time, please give our candidates for engineering senator a warm round of applause as they enter the stage. As a reminder, candidates, here are the rules. Each candidate will have 45 seconds to answer the question. No rebuttals or clarifications will be permitted for these debates. From the moderator's table, I will provide hand signals to indicate how much time a candidate has left. A C will indicate 30 seconds, and a 10-second countdown will be provided. Each candidate may also ask the moderator to repeat the question once per question. All candidates have reviewed and agreed to the rules prior to the debate, so we will now begin with 1-minute opening statements from each candidate, starting with Ethan.
What is on? Okay. Hello and greetings, Anteater family and more. I'm Ethan Hatch. I'm a second-year chemical engineering student, and I am running for your engineering senator position here at ASUCI. ASUCI to me feels like a new home. I had just joined ASUCI this previous quarter as an intern, and now I'm here running for an engineering senator position. The engineering school of Henry Samuel is very diverse, and we have a very broad community. There's a lot of majors and disciplines of many backgrounds, of people of many different beginnings and origins. Here at ASUCI, I want to kind of improve the engineering community and develop it further. I want to introduce advisory RCO boards in order to kind of connect the RCOs within engineering closer and work together to address issues and concerns. And I want to overall introduce advocacy for all engineering students and any concerns that they can bring up to ASUCI in general. Thank you.
Thank you for your opening statement. We'll now have a 1-minute opening statement from our next candidate, Dylan.
All right, I'm Dylan, and I'm a first-year mechanical engineering major running for re-election as engineering senator. So a little bit about me. I have experience as an anteater, electric, racing, aerodynamics engineer. That's what this shirt is. I'm the ZIMS vice president, which does makerspace and other engineering intro activities. I am, like I said, your previous engineering senator, and I'm an ASUCI AMP intern. So in my time surrounded by fellow engineers and student government, I learned to represent our interests impactfully. And by voting for me, you're voting for an experienced engineering senator with a track record of success in items including senior design project funding, reform, reimbursements for engineering student costs that were paid out of pocket, and club and project outreach. This is also why I'm running alongside Ethan and with the rest of Anteater Pact, because this is a group who has previously helped me pass this agenda and is a group of dedicated students who I know will make UCI a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates, for your opening statements. Starting off our questions for tonight, your first question is in general terms. What is your understanding of the role of senator? Dylan, we'll begin with you.
Hello again. So the role of senator, especially a school-based engineering senator, is to get to know the students. Unlike an at-large senator, we do have a much smaller group of students that we can actually get to know on a more personal level. The reason we need to know them is so that we can know the problems they face. When we're allocating the budget, we know where it needs to go. When we're writing legislations, we know the opinions of the students and we know how it'll affect them. In terms of outreach, this is something that I've had a lot of prior success in. In the last quarter, I reached out to over a dozen clubs and organizations, talking to them about all the issues they faced, bringing some of those up to the dean, helping solve some of those issues. And this sort of outreach and getting to know the students is what makes a senator. It's being ingrained with the student body and being able to represent them accurately. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Ethan, same question.
The role of engineering senator goes beyond just engineering in general. You want to get to know all the engineering students. You want to get to know all the students in general, understand the problems and concerns they brought up. For engineering in particular, we have so many RCOs. We have the Engineering Student Council, we have the American Institute of Chemical Engineers, we have the ASCE, we have ASME, we have so many broad RCOs within engineering. And there are so many concerns and issues that they have with the UCI in general, with how funding goes and how scholarships are given right now. And so one thing that the role of senator should be able to do is kind of bring those issues to the table from all these RCOs and be able to gather their thoughts and see what we can do about making some change within UCI. Thank you.
Thank you for your responses, candidates. Your next question is, students from each academic school face a variety of challenges unique to their school. What do you believe is the most important issue to engineering students, and how would you address it as their senator? Ethan, we'll begin with you. Can you repeat the question, please? Of course. Students from each academic school face a variety of challenges unique to their school. What do you believe is the most important issue to engineering students, and how would you address it as their senator?
First of all, engineering students don't face just one challenge or one problem. They face a multitude of problems within the school. I would say one of the big issues that engineering students face is inclusivity and kind of connection. Many disciplines have very niche kind of majors, or they'll have very small student cohorts, or those cohorts will get left behind because they may miss one class or fail another, right? What we want to do here at ASUCI as senators is kind of be able to connect those students and be able to get them to come together and accept, like, hey, I'm a mechanical engineering student, but I want to do something that's not mechanical. Maybe I want to switch majors. We want to be able to kind of connect them, make them feel inclusive to the community, make them feel at home. A lot of them. Oh,
Your time has elapsed. Dylan, same question.
So in my conversations with the dozen and more engineering clubs and projects I've talked to, there's been three main threads that all of them mention, which is funding, space, and resources. In terms of funding, like I said, I've already worked to address it, including passing a bill that reimburses engineering students for costs that they did out of pocket. And additionally, we, in the same bill, made it so that it's more efficient to use the funding that engineering students are actually given. Because right now, if you're trying to buy something, you have to wait 2 weeks for a part, and in a 10-week quarter, that means you're not going to get your project done. Beyond that, I've also worked to collaborate with ESC and bring a direct funding avenue for student design projects, which is now open and accepting applications, giving out money. Beyond that, I also have a program where I'm working with ASME and hopefully more clubs in the future to bring resources directly to the students. Thank you.
Thank you for your responses. Your next question is, all Senate meetings are open to the public to promote a degree of transparency. How would you encourage more students, particularly from the School of Engineering, to directly engage with the Senate? Dylan, we'll begin with you.
Yeah. So like I was just mentioning, I have a program that I'm working with ASUCI and hoping to extend to more clubs where we bring resources directly to the students. In addition to just resources about funding, resources about clubs and how to get involved, we also bring updates, things that might affect them. If there's referendums going on, if there's a chance for public comment for things that might impact them, these updates is what we're bringing to the students because, like has been said before, ASUCI is transparent. There's just not a lot of motivation to go find it. And people are busy. They don't really want to be digging through all these things. So we got to bring the information to them. And that's what this has done. That's what it will continue to do. Thank you.
Ethan, same question.
For Senator and ASUCI, Senate meetings are public to all students in general. And for engineering in particularly, we would try to work with a newsletter list with the ESC, the Engineering Student Council, to kind of push out an email to all the RCOs and maybe flyers on an email list to update them about certain agenda that affects engineering students, like increased funding, scholarships, projects. And we would just push that out to all the RCOs, kind of make them understand that all the Senate stuff is very public, all the referendum is very public for them to kind of look at and, you know, get that knowledge out there to all the general members of all the RCOs, all the members of board members of the RCOs, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your responses. Your final question is, the Senate is the only branch of ASUCI authorized to release statements on behalf of the student body. What do you believe should be the Senate's role when taking a stance or position? Ethan, we'll begin with you.
As Senate is is the only branch that puts announcements out to kind of make ASUCI or represent the students in general, we want to take a consensus from all engineering students in general and kind of reach out to all the organizations as well as put Google Forms up, send emails out in the listings for all students and engineering students in particular to kind of fill out and address, hey, what do we have to do? What do we have to change to make this campus better? What do we have to, you know, turn around? What do we have to like improve in the referendum, the legislation? And so we take all those kinds of responses, all the kind of consensus from all the RCOs, from all the different majors and disciplines within engineering, and we'd take all that information, put together, formulate an email or formulate a letter to understand and kind of address the concerns that we have with the university. Thank you.
Dylan, same question.
So in using the power to make statements from the student body, the point of that power is not so that senators can talk about what's important to them. It's important and an important power for us to amplify the voice of students. So when students come to us and they have a concern and it is worth and it can be helped and achieved by putting it out in front of more people, that's when it's our job to amplify that student voice. In addition, it's used to help the student body in general. For example, when the wildfires struck so many parts of California, we sent out opportunities for people to give if they could and resources for people who needed them. And that's the type of job of our school, and when we're putting out the students' voice, it's something that will help all of them. Thank you.
Thank you for your responses. Before we move on to our next Senate race, we will end with 1 minute closing statements from each candidate, starting with Dylan.
Yeah, so in my closing, I'll just do a quick summary of why I'm a good engineering candidate. So in only 1/4 of being engineering senator, I've already brought a lot of attention to the role in reaching out to different clubs, talking with different project team members, and actually letting people know what Senate does and why it affects them, the budget that we take care of, the legislations that we pass, and how it all impacts them. I've also, like I said, already planned informational sessions with all sorts of engineering clubs, bringing them resources, bringing them updates about Senate, bringing them the sort of transparency that we all agree ASUCI should have. Finally, I've already passed meaningful legislation, including, once again, bringing money back to engineering students who have spent money out of pocket, reforming the way money is spent in the engineering school to make it so they will not need to spend money out of pocket, and working with ESC to make direct funding avenues for students. So with all this experience, a vote for me as engineering senator is a vote to continue these projects, and a vote for the Anteater Pact is a vote to help this agenda come to fruition in the
Your
best
time's
and most
elapsed.
impactful way. Thank you.
Ethan, your closing statement.
First of all, I would want to thank all of you guys for coming tonight to witness this debate. Engineering is very important in today's society, as well as every other major here at UCI. I think focusing on getting those RCOs really involved and very collaborating with each other and whatnot, and increasing the funding for RCOs to kind of bring about attention to issues within the engineering community, as well as develop and progress as a community in general. I want to also mention that I am running along a lot of other talented individuals here at Anteater Pact, and I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart that we are working to build a better campus for ourselves, the future, and strive for passions and our initiatives and whatever we want to do in life. Thank you.
Thank you for your closing statements, candidates. This concludes the engineering senatorial debate. You've met two of our incredible candidates for engineering senator today, but we do have a total of 5 incredible candidates running in this year's elections. To learn more about all the candidates running for engineering senator, please head over to the elections website, elections.uci.edu. But with that, please give our candidates one final warm round of applause as they exit the stage. At this time, our next debate will be the Humanities Senatorial debate. Please give our candidate for Humanities Senator a warm round of applause as they enter the stage. As a reminder of the rules, each candidate will have 45 seconds to answer the question. No rebuttals or clarifications will be permitted for these debates. From the moderator's table, I will provide hand signals to indicate how much time a candidate has left. A C will indicate 30 seconds, and a 10-second countdown will be provided. Each candidate may also ask the moderator to repeat the question once per question. All candidates have reviewed and agreed to the rules prior to the debate, so we will now begin with 1-minute opening statements from each candidate, starting with Jose.
Hello everyone, I'm Jose Solis. I'm a second-year history and philosophy double major, and with a minor in political science. I am currently running for the position of humanities senator. My role here and why I'm running for this race in humanities is advocate for students within our community and amplify their voices. I'm open to hearing everyone's feedback and elevating their education and experience, as I want to foster a meaningful impact on campus and our school.
Thank you for your opening statement. Starting off our questions for tonight, in general terms, what is your understanding of the role of senator?
In my current understanding for the role of senator is that school-based senators speak with the school dean and ensure student feedback and clubs. They also encourage to support RCOs for students. Supporting RCOs is important as it allows them to find a sense of belonging here on campus, which benefits students both academically and personally. So in the role of school-based senator is to hear the students, talk to the deans and to others within the department to better amplify their education and experience within the School of Humanities.
All right, thank you for your response. Your next question is, students from each academic school face a variety of challenges unique to their school. What do you believe is the most important issue to humanities students, and how would you address it as their senator?
So although there are many issues, and I can go on a ramble for the rest of the day about what the issues we are facing, but the key issue that I have witnessed and talked to with many humanities students is expand career opportunities. As of right now, if you go to the School of Humanities website, you only see a handful of majors that have internship opportunities. As we all know, each school has a lot of majors, and only having a handful of opportunities for those majors, it does not address everyone. So I want to expand and offer opportunity more than one quarter to give flexibility for students who wanted but couldn't due to scheduling. As the current opportunities available to students, you only see one quarter, which is only offered through the fall. Maybe some students couldn't do it in the fall because of scheduling and they couldn't have it due to availability. I want to offer more opportunities for more majors and expand
Your
more
time has
flexibility.
elapsed.
Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Your next question is, the School of Humanities, as one of the smaller schools on campus, is allotted one Senate seat compared to the 29 total. How would you ensure the voices of humanities students are adequately represented when you serve as one out of 29?
So again, I ensure that I want to hear student feedback on clubs, and the role of senator and being in this small community, I want to participate in outreach. I want to make myself available to everyone and ensure they don't feel nervous in reaching out to me. Like right now, my voice is lost because I went to 2 Angels games like this past weekend, so I'll sound more better like soon. But I have this like delightful and bubbly attitude, which makes students available to like come to me, like, hey, like you guys can come to me, like everyone can come to me and speak, because like I'm an easygoing person and not scary. Because like sometimes students are very nervous in speaking with their representatives. I will ensure that I will not be that scary person, and everyone can come to me as I'm open to hearing your feedback.
Thank you for your response. Your next question is, the Senate is responsible for many of the oversight functions within ASUCI. What tangible steps would you take to improve the transparency and accountability of ASUCI?
Can you repeat that question one more time?
Of course. So to repeat, the Senate is responsible for many oversight functions of ASUCI. What tangible steps would you take to improve the transparency and accountability of ASUCI?
Again, as I've noted previously, participate in outreach to bolster confidence and keep my community my community in trust with me and ASUCI, make myself available, like I said, to everyone, and ensure they don't feel nervous in reaching out to me, and educate the students about the resources, because there are a ton of resources here on campus, but not many students know about them. So to ensure transparency, educate them about the resources, have like mass emails and brand them on the TVs in the School of Humanities, like, oh, there's this, there's that, just to basically like expose them to have that more transparency. Because although ASUCI is currently transparent, it's not reaching out to the whole student body.
Thank you for your response. Your final question is, the Senate is the only branch of ASUCI authorized to release statements on behalf of the entire student body. What do you believe should be the Senate's role when taking a stance or position?
When making a statement, our role is to assemble and show all of our community and campus is that, hey, we hear you and we are with you. So that's the point of assembly, and to join us. And when we put out a statement, join us in addressing this and become a part of the solution process.
Thank you for your response. Before we move on to our next debate, we will end with 1-minute closing statements from each candidate, starting with Jose.
So again, I want to thank everyone for coming here and being able to listen to me and other fellow senators in their debates. I hope you will be voting for me for Humanities Senator. And if you want to contact me, you can reach me around campus. If you see me, you can also look for my contact info on the Elections Commission's website. And also please follow my campaign Instagram at Jose for Humanities. And remember to vote Jose week 3 for Humanities Center. Also vote and follow Anteater Pact, as we are a team running to build a better tomorrow on campus. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for your closing statement. This concludes the Humanities Senatorial debate. You've heard from one of our incredible candidates today. However, we have 2 incredible candidates running for Humanities Senator. To learn more about all candidates for Humanities, please head to the ASUCI Elections website at elections.uci.edu. At this time, we'll move on to the Social Sciences Senatorial debate. Please give our candidates for Social Sciences Senator a warm round of applause as they enter the stage. As a reminder of the rules, candidates, each candidate will have 45 seconds to answer the question. No rebuttals or clarifications will be permitted for these debates. From the moderator's table, I will provide hand signals to indicate how much time a candidate has remaining. A C will indicate 30 seconds, and a 10-second countdown will be provided. Each candidate may also ask the moderator to repeat the question once per question. All candidates have reviewed and agreed to the rules prior to this debate, so with that, we will now have a 1-minute opening statement from Naomi.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming out, and
kind of educating yourself on the senator candidates. My name is Naomi Paskowitz. I'm a second-year political science major, and I'm running to be your social science senator. I'm running because I want to amplify social science students' voices. I will fight for career support, easier access to required classes for graduation, and making sure that the School of Social Sciences has more hands-on internships that apply to credit for your major requirements. More broadly, I will make campus more inclusive. I will make sure that there is more affordable on-campus housing and easier access to basic needs and better transportation. I have the passion, and I also have the experience and knowledge to back it up. I have ASUCI experience.
Your time has elapsed.
Thank you.
Thank you for your opening statement. We will now have a 1-minute opening statement from our next candidate, Jayla.
Okay, hello everyone. It is nice to see you all here in this tiny auditorium. My name is Jayla Pete, and I'm a second-year triple major. I know in political science, anthropology, and criminology law and society. So I'm running to be your next social science senator, not just for a mere title, but to enact real change, because I haven't seen that much within ASUCI. Our school deserves a representative who will challenge the status quo and deliver real results, someone like me. Whether it's fighting for open access textbooks, expanding course options, or pushing for financial aid reform, I will lead with action, not just words. I've worked in ASUCI, the SOAR Center, and many other organizations to advocate for policies that actually reflect the needs of social science students, and will continue to do so as social science senator. And finally, above all, I believe in building a present and future where every social science student feels seen, supported, and empowered to thrive in the future. Thank you.
Thank you for your opening statements, candidates. Your first question is, in general terms, what is your understanding of the role of senator? Jayla, we'll begin with you.
Okay, so as a senator, I see it as a bridge where I'm necessarily a gateway for the student to enable to advocate their needs to the Senate. The Senate is kind of a daunting spirit. Even the word Senate is scary. So it's important to be that voice and, again, go out to social science organizations and make sure what their needs are and bring that up to the Senate. Again, Senate is also creating about legislation, but it's also putting your voice on those legislations and making sure those legislations actually impact the needs of social science students, and again, expand on that. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Naomi, same question.
Being a senator is being a leader for your school. I would uplift the voices of my students and listen and amplify what their needs and their interests are. I would go to clubs and make sure that I reach out to not even just the people who are in the ASUCI bubble, but the outer community, and making sure that their voices are also heard. And I would speak with administration and the dean of the social sciences to make sure that their voices are heard. Thank you.
Thank you for your responses. Your next question is, students from each academic school face a variety of challenges unique to their school. What do you believe is the most important issue to social sciences students, and how would you address it as their senator? Naomi, we'll begin with you.
Thank you. As I mentioned in my opening statement, there are many issues that social science students face. One that I want to bring up specifically is that students aren't always getting the required classes because social science classes are so well loved in UCI. So I would make sure that there are bigger classes and more options for these required classes for graduation. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Jayla, same question.
I actually really dislike this question because it kind of limits what affects social science students. But actually thinking about that, currently I think the most potent issue that affects social science students is the limit on, for example, DEI initiatives and our way to have free thinking now, especially in this current climate where there's book bannings, there's professors getting fired, there's students getting deported just for exercising the rights that are given to them when they come into this country. And I think we should emphasize that. Again, just because as social science students, we are kind of like the protectors and the continuers of social science and the knowledge of that. And it's really sad to see that. So I want to continue, again, uplifting DEI, uplifting unrepresented voices, and continue that process. Thank you.
Thank you for your responses. The next question is, the School of Social Sciences is allotted 3 seats out of the 29, the most seats out of any school. How would you balance your personal interests as a senator with those of the senators that you would be working alongside? Jayla, we'll begin with you.
So again, as the biggest school, again, there's a lot of perks to that. And it's honestly great that we have 3 seats just so we have multiple viewpoints. And honestly, again, I got to know a lot of the social science candidates. Naomi, again, very good candidate, please vote for her. So it's very, again, just bonding with the social science students, but also going out as a collective front and going to organizations and asking what they need is a great initiative that I will be taking. And again, showing a collective supported forefront and not being divided in that way. Because again, division is not effective and will not create any processes within that way. So I believe showing a collective front and bonding with your other social science senator is a way to become more effective.
Thank you for your response. Naomi, same question.
Hi. We are the biggest school in undergraduate of UCI. There are a lot of viewpoints, and I think that having multiple senators will be able to show that wide range of students' voices. And the number of 3 seats is also great because we're able to collaborate together and expand our outreach even more than having fewer seats. And it's going to be an amazing way for us to collaborate and discuss the issues together. And we will have discourse together, but then outwardly we will show a collective front. Thank you.
Thank you for your responses. Your next question is, the Senate is responsible for many oversight functions within ASUCI. What tangible steps would you take to improve the transparency and accountability of ASUCI? Naomi, we'll begin with you.
As many other candidates have mentioned, I believe ASUCI is fairly accessible and has outwardly said what they are about. I also know that there is an ASUCI bubble and that not everyone can reach the information that they need unless they are doing a Google search, which isn't always something that someone's going to go out actively reach out for. So it's important to meet students where they're at by going to clubs and having an active Instagram and TikTok and any other social media outreach, and also having emails. Everyone loves emails, so that's how I would reach out to students. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Jayla, same question.
I actually low-key agree that ACCI is transparent, because in order to be transparent, our content has to be digestible in what we're doing. If you ask any student on Ring Road, they're not going to be able to tell you what ACCI or what EVP or IVP is. So I think it's important to emphasize what those branches do, but also making sure those branches and what they're doing is effective. So that's another way to become more transparent. Also, I did notice on the Senate logs, a lot of it is not updated, and that's a huge concern on itself because, again, we're making these decisions and making these logs, but they're not updated, and students are not informed in that way. So just, again, informing students of the Senate process, telling them this is what bills do, and maybe even make the bills more digestible and putting it on our Instagram. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Your final question is, the Senate is the only branch of ASUCI authorized to release statements on behalf of the student body. What do you believe should be the Senate's role when taking a stance or position? Jayla, we'll begin with you.
So Even though I'm not a senator, I was actually able to craft a statement, the Celebrating Black History Statement. And honestly, it's sad that I, as not a senator, had to take that initiative because, again, these statements should be already out there. The statements are meant to celebrate our populations and uplift them, and why are we not doing this already? So I would implement, honestly, like an Indigenous history statement. As someone who's Indigenous, it was really sad to see there was nothing done within UCI to acknowledge us. So again, having the statements, but also statements are not enough. We should be prioritizing, amplifying these resources and creating resource guides and going on Ring Road and telling students these are out there for you and we care about you. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Naomi, same question.
The role of Senate for sending out these statements is to amplify the voices of the students. They are the voices of the students. The students are trying to speak their voice through Senate. I believe that we are only supposed to say what the students are thinking, and that we are going to collaborate with them to try to speak out and amplify them. Thank you.
Thank you for your responses. Before we move on to our next Senate race, we will end with 1-minute closing statements from each candidate, starting with Naomi.
Hi, thank you. I wanted to go back to my opening statement and kind of reflect on why I am ready to speak out for the social science school. I have experience in ASUCI through policy. I am policy coordinator in the EVP office. I am also a part of an on-campus job through the Vice Provost of Teaching and Learning, and I work with the District Office of Assemblymember Petri Norris. I want to amplify the voices of students, and I know that being in college is not just about getting a degree, it's about receiving a well-rounded education, preparing you to go out into the world. And I'm here to help you with your goals and ambitions. Vote Naomi Paskowitz for Social Science Senator. I am your voice, trying to get real results. Thank you.
Thank you for your closing statement. We'll now have a 1-minute closing statement for our next candidate, Jayla.
Thank you all for coming here. At the heart of my campaign is a simple yet important message. Social science students deserve better, and I'm ready to fight for it. I've spent my time at UCI within RCOs, organizing, advocating, and pushing for change because I care deeply about what happens to us in the classroom, on campus, in our communities, and systems that shape our experiences like financial aid in our resource centers. In addition, I know how to navigate student government, but more importantly, I know how to listen to your voice and lead with intention, and how to turn ideas into action. Just a reminder, this role isn't just about me, it's about me being your voice. And again, vote for me if you want me to be your voice. If elected, I will show up, speak up, and never stop working to make sure every social science student is heard, represented, and empowered. Let's raise our voices, let's push boundaries, and let's make change together. Vote Jayla Pete for Social Science Senator. Thank you.
Thank you for your closing statements, candidates. This concludes the Social Sciences Senatorial debate. You've met 2 of our incredible candidates for Social Sciences Senator. However, we have a total of 6 incredible candidates running for the Social Sciences. If you want more information on who's running for this seat, please feel free to head to the elections website, elections.uci.edu. But with that, please give our candidates a warm round of applause as they exit the stage. We will now move on to our next senatorial debate, the International Senatorial Debate. Please give our candidates for International Senator a warm round of applause as they enter the stage. As a reminder of the rules for the candidates, each candidate will have 45 seconds to answer the question. No rebuttals or clarifications will be permitted for these debates. From the moderator's table, I will provide hand signals to indicate how much time a candidate has left. A C will indicate 30 seconds, and a 10-second countdown will be provided. Each candidate may also ask the moderator to repeat the question once per question. All candidates have reviewed and agreed to the rules prior to the debate, so we will now begin with 1-minute opening statements from each candidate, starting with Sophia.
Hello, thank you for coming here today. My name is Sofia Gomez-Sinowe. I am a first-year international student, and I am a student from Tijuana, Mexico. Coming from the border, I know what it feels like when our voices go unheard. International students sometimes hear that their foreign perspective is irrelevant, but I am certain that the path to inclusion embraces perspectives to achieve solutions. I am certain that through my passion for advocating for student voices, I will build a school where all our voices will be heard. I plan to welcome the voice of international students in our government to help foster a more global and cooperative environment that represents our international student needs, be it on language, cultural barriers. These can be overcome for a better UCI community. Thank you.
Thank you for your opening statement. We will now have a 1-minute opening statement from our next candidate, Hong.
Hello, good morning everyone. My name is Hong, first name H-O-N-G, and last name is Pham, P-H-A-M, and I'm running for International Senator at UCI. So I having experience study abroad since I was 16, and this personal experience have make me understand deeply about the cultural, language, and social barriers that international students face. If elected, there are 3 primary goals that I would like to commit to. First is expand internship and sponsorship opportunities for international students. Second is improve the immigration guidance and also for their protect their legal status. Third is improve the mentorship and strengthen the experience and smooth transition for the international student. With that personal experience and professional experience in the past that dedicated to international students, I'm committed to build a better community for international students.
Your time has elapsed.
Thank you.
Thank you for your responses, candidates. We will begin with our first question. In general terms, what do you believe is the role of senator? We'll start with you, Hong.
So international senator, I think the meaning is mostly showing the word international as a voice and representation of international students with more than 8,000 international students come from over 100 countries. I think our community is a makeup of a maturity or like a really significant part of the UCI community. With the international students, there are a lot of the barriers and challenges that they face as a language, socials, and sense of belonging. And for the international senator, I think the goal is act as a connector between the staff, the administration, and to the student that turn into the action for international students to better the community as well as their goods and needs. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Sophia, same question. Of course. So your question is, in general terms, what is your understanding of the role of senator?
So as a senator for international students, I believe it's essential to be connected to the broader international student body, as we all come from diverse backgrounds, diverse experiences with the American culture, with being fluent in English, and the expectations that sometimes they believe that international students should assimilate to American society, when in reality, as a senator, our role is to provide that connection and extend the hand of including these diverse perspectives in our own student government in order to promote diversity and inclusion to improve the common challenges that we all face as UCI students.
Thank you for your responses, candidates. Your next question is, students from each academic school face a variety of challenges unique to their school. the position of international senator is similar to the position of at-large senator in that you would be advocating for students from all across the academic schools. What do you believe is the most important issue to international students, and how would you address it as their senator? Sophia, we'll begin with you.
So, as a way to address this issue of addressing international students and their own diverse academic backgrounds, I believe that as a senator, it is my responsibility to outreach to RCOs, to clubs, and other student organizations that in which these international students are strongly involved. I've interacted with RCOs that are focused in outreaching, and sometimes it can be cultural clubs or clubs within these schools, in order to know what career challenges or academic guidance they need, be it through language or tutoring sessions that can be totally embraced.
Thank you for your response. Hong, same question.
So there are two issues that I think that international students face right now. The first is the career and visa sponsorship after graduation. Second is the immigration status. So I will talk about the immigration status. With the email of Chancellor sent this after about the revoked visa, I think this is definitely an issue right now that we should focus on because of different administration change over time, and this is really important to keep up with what is the updated and accurate information for the international students because legal status is the only thing that keep them in here. So I think this is definitely a thing, and we should keep fighting, and as an international senator, I will try to work with international center to update.
Your time has elapsed.
Thank you.
Thank you for your responses. Your next question is, the Senate is responsible for many oversight functions within ASUCI. What tangible steps would you take to improve the transparency and accountability of ASUCI, especially to international students? Hong, we'll begin with you.
To increase the transparency of the Senate, I think the Senate meeting could be intimidating for all of the students that they never heard before, and even the office hour when you say that talking with the representatives of international students, it could be really like intimidating for them. So for me, to make sure to access to the community, I would try to make a survey for international students and just ask any question that you have asked me, like what is the issue that you think that the international student or your peers commonly face, and from that survey I will try to work on that. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Sophia, same question.
So to improve the transparency and accessibility of ASUCI to international students, at least, it is important to have accessible and let them know when ASUCI events are. So be it by having more posters or flyers, or myself going into the International Center and letting them know that there's someone that represents them and that there are events where they can access is essential to taking that first step, as many aren't aware that they can participate in ASUCI or that they have a representative. It is definitely important to take that first step and be able to maintain that relationship long term.
Thank you for your response. Your next question is, the international senator seat is allotted only one seat on the Senate out of 29, and you are responsible for advocating for all international students on campus. How would you ensure that you balance the need to reach out to all international students regardless of their country of origin? Sophia, we'll begin with you.
So, especially in these current times, it is very important to acknowledge and be mindful of the diverse situations that international students face. That is why it is important to have a close relationship and the resources about local authorities and the university's resources for immigration status, as well as the accessibility that the International Center provides. And yeah.
Thank you for your response. Hong, same question. Of course. So the international senator is allotted only one seat on the Senate of 29, and you're responsible for advocating for all international students at UCI. How would you ensure that you balance the need to outreach to all international students regardless of their country of origin?
So I understand that my personal experience will not represent every single international student in the community, and which connect us right now is the language. So if I really conduct a survey for international students to ask for their opinions, I will make sure that there will be a diversity of language for every countries like Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese for better access. And other than that, for the Senate meeting, if there is any issue for international students, I want to speak up about that. And other than that, I think actions speak louder than words. So I will try to make sure that I will connect with as much as international students as possible with survey and emails. Thank you.
Thank you for your responses. Your final question is, the Senate is the only branch of ASUCI authorized to release statements on behalf of the entire student body. What do you believe should be the Senate's role when taking a stance or position? Hong, we'll start with you.
So I believe that the international senator role, I'm not just represent the international student, but also UC Irvine student as a whole. So I make sure that I will not just prioritize international needs without ignoring other students' needs and also good. So therefore, as an international senator, I will try to make sure that I will turn 3 goals in my campaign into actions. Other than that, I want to make sure that all of the students like us also experience a better community, and also want to strengthen their diversity in our campus. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Sophia, same question. Of course. So the question is, the Senate is the only branch of ASUCI authorized to make statements on behalf of the entire student body. What do you believe should be the Senate's role when taking a stance or position?
So, as international senator, being part of the Senate, it is important to include international perspectives as well as the student body at large perspective. And in order to do that, it's important to know what are the issues that we are working on, and knowing how we can communicate them, not only make them accessible to international students by providing a language translation, but also to break it down to the community at large and clearly stating how these issues truly impact us. So making that tangible and encouraging participation is what will truly make a difference and will fulfill the Senate's role.
Thank you for your responses. We are now reaching the end of our scheduled program, so with that, we will end with 1-minute closing statements from each candidate, starting with Sophia.
I am grateful for the opportunity of speaking towards all of you. If you are all present here, then I believe that we all know the importance of working collectively to achieve change. And as international senator, I will work to protect international students, as they all deserve the opportunity to feel welcome in UC Irvine. I am not afraid of confronting their perspectives, their difficulties, and their issues, as we are all part of the Anteater family. I believe that we can all achieve change through our different perspectives, and to work collectively no matter what part of the world you are from, as you all belong in this campus.
Thank Thank you for your closing statement. We will now have a 1-minute closing statement from our next candidate.
Good evening and hello again. Thank you for your time for being here and listening to our debate. My name is Hong and I'm running for international senator. And as I mentioned 3 primary goals, but at the end of the day, my only purpose is to make sure that international students are capable of thriving just as everybody else in our campus. And I'm committed to turn into this word and go into real action. And really thankful for Sophia also running with me because I feel like at least there are someone other than me that dedicated and care for international students. And please vote for me, Hong, H-O-N-G. Thank you.
Thank you for your closing statements. This concludes the International Senatorial debate. We have 2 of our incredible candidates up on stage today. However, we have a total of 3 incredible candidates running for international senator. If you're interested in learning anything about our candidates, please head over to the elections website, elections.uci.edu. At this time, if we can have all of our senatorial candidates that are present today up on stage as well for one final farewell. So if all of our senatorial candidates can come up on stage. All right, so now you have met some of our incredible candidates running for Senate today. The Senate is one of our most important branches of ASUCI with very, very important authorities. So we highly recommend that you look into every candidate that is running for Senate in these elections. If every candidate would like to give a very brief 10-second farewell, we will start all the way from the bottom over at Sophia and work our way over.
Hi, I'm Sophia Gomez-Sinogue. I am running for international senator, and thank you so much for coming here.
My name is Hong. I'm also running for ASUCI International Senator. Thank you.
I'm Senatorial Conde, and I'm running for at-large senator.
I'm Lauren Jernigan. I'm running for at-large senator. Thank you for coming. I'm Amelia Nguyen. I'm also running for at-large senator. Thank you for coming, and I'll be honored to get your vote.
Thank you for coming. Vote Dylan for engineering senator.
Thank you for coming. I'm Ethan, and vote Ethan for engineering senator.
Thank you for coming. I'm Jose Solis, and vote Jose for humanities with me.
My name's Oliver Wise. I'm running for at-large senator. Be wise, vote wise.
Thank you for showing up. I'm running for social science senator. Vote for Jayla and Amy.
Hi, I'm Naomi. I'm running for social science senator. Please show up and vote. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Candace. Everyone, please give our candidates one final warm-up.